Boom. What's up? What's going on, everybody? And welcome to today's podcast. And in this podcast, we are going to be talking about healing your body from different things. Really, we're just going to talk about healing in general. But the reason why I'm saying this and why we're going over this topic is because I've had a lot of clients recently, and even potential clients trying to heal their body. And I think that the healing process that we're used to is flawed. And I'm going to get into that in this podcast episode. So if you are interested in that at all, and just healing your body from anything in general, whether it's a health issue, or whether it's like some sort of physical issue or ailment or something like that, I'm going to cover both of those topics, and it's all your body, so it's kind of all the same. So yeah, that's what we got in today's podcast episode. Again, if you are not familiar with this podcast, this is the Performance Lens. I am your host, Jared Phelps, and basically what we do here, and I forgot I even had on my headphones, but basically what we do here is we cover different topics that help you boost your performance. So whether it's your performance at work, whether it's your performance with a certain sport or activity, or just your overall life performance, and you want to perform better in your relationships with people and things like that. Really, we're focusing on improving your health and well-being. Once that's improved, you actually have a lot more room to gain more skills and knowledge in any other thing, in any other part in life. And really having your health be an asset for you and not a liability is the main thing that we're going for in this podcast. So if stuff is interesting to you, definitely like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, whether you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, and share it with a friend if you think that some of the stuff that we go over in here is useful. And if you want to check out any of the stuff that I got going on here and you want to dive deeper in, just look at the description down below, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify, and there'll be some more information for you. So let's get into it. Again, today's topic is healing your body. Now, I'm pretty sure that we're probably going to have to make two parts of this, but this is part one. And really, when you're healing your body, what most people don't understand, the fundamental thing that most people don't understand about healing their body, is that you have to heal your body. You are responsible for healing your body. If you're outsourcing this to some other person, place, or thing, you're mistaken. And here's why I say that. Most people say, hey, I need to get some healing done. And for a lot of people, they'll come to me and they're like, hey, you know what? I messed up my, excuse me. I messed up my knee, I messed up my ankle, something like that, right? And it's like, I help facilitate the healing, but your body does the actual healing. And if you sabotages your body's ability to heal itself, there's nothing that I can really do to help you. Right? When you go to different practitioners, when you go to different doctors, they help your body heal itself. Your body is a self-healing mechanism. I can't even call it a mechanism, organism, right? Your body is self-healing. The thing is, we have to give our body the proper state in order to actually heal. If we don't give our bodies the proper state to actually heal, there is no healing that can happen. You can throw all the medicines and all the therapies at your body, but if it doesn't involve you actually making an environment that's conducive to healing, nothing happens. I've seen this happen time and time again. People will have like health issues, right? And they'll go, okay, let me see what's the best pill that I could give the body. And I don't think medicine is wrong. It's good for you, right? If it's used in the proper context. But what ends up happening here is that you just take the medicine and you don't realize that your body has to absorb this medicine. Whether the medicine is food or whether the medicine is an actual pill or something that you drink, right? It doesn't really matter what it is. In order for your body to heal itself, it has to be in an environment where it can actually facilitate healing. And that's exactly what this podcast is going to be about. In order to make an environment that can facilitate healing, one of the first things I would say is that we need to make sure that there is less stress, right? When you're in a high stress environment, and if you listen to any of the stuff that I do, or you're a client of mine, I talk about stress all the time because it's super important. And I don't want to go into a long, laborious thing about stress, but basically stress is not just mental stress. Stress is mental, physical, it could be from stress from the EMFs, meaning electromagnetic frequency waves. So it could mean your Wi-Fi, the electric literally in your house, or if you live by somewhere where it's constantly emitting electricity, right? These throw off the harmony of your body, right? So those things, the different chemicals that you're putting in your body, the different foods that you're putting in your body, the things that you're putting on your body, right? The environment that you're in, the things that you're breathing, the things that you're interacting with, right? All of those things can cause stress in the body, right? If you have too much chemical stress, meaning that you're bringing in too many chemicals inside of your body, what ends up happening is that your body is now in a fight or flight mode. And this could happen even if you're having too many negative thoughts, right? If your body is constantly fighting a battle, right, and this is basically you have two nervous systems, right? And you have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. A sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight response. So it's really, you're alert, your blood is flowing to your limbs, you have the capacity to probably run fast, jump high, and do all these different things because your body is preparing for an attack, and it needs to give you extra energy and an extra boost to prepare for this attack. When you're preparing for attack, you do not go into a parasympathetic nervous system state, which is rest and digest and repair, right? So this parasympathetic nervous system state is basically a place where your body is repairing, resting, digesting, regrowing, right? When you're in that state, right, this is where your body does the preparation for being able to take on more stress, right? If you're not able to get to that state, what ends up happening here is that you will keep building stress on stress on stress. That means the stress that you had yesterday, it could mean a hard workout, it could mean a hard day at work, it could mean an argument with a spouse, it could mean a disagreement with a family member, right? And it could mean that you put a lot of things in your body that you know don't serve you, right? You have all of that going. If you don't get into a state where that stress is basically limited, right, where you get rid of the negative effects of that, and usually that's sleep or some kind of working in exercises, which I'll go over later, right? But if you don't get rid of some of that stuff, what ends up happening is it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. And when it accumulates, you basically stay in the sympathetic nervous system state. When you stay in that sympathetic nervous system state, you are constantly in the fight or flight mode. Now, what I demonstrated, or what I told you before about the fight or flight mode, is that it's basically like a lion is chasing you. When a lion is chasing you, you don't worry about your digestion. You don't worry about fighting off infectious diseases. You don't worry about growing new muscle tissue. You don't worry about washing your brain of neurotoxins, right? You don't worry about getting rid of the toxicity that your body is constantly building up, right? You don't worry about that stuff because you're fighting a lion. And this lion could literally be you're fighting a lion, which doesn't really happen, but if you're having thoughts in your mind, like an anxiety, that you're constantly thinking of something negative and negative and negative, right? This doesn't give your body and allow your body to get into a space where it can recover anything. So no wonder why, even if you're taking the pills, you might be eating food that's good for you, but if you can't get your body into a state where it can accept that food, it doesn't do anything for you, right? If you can't get your body into a point where it actually takes that food in and digests it instead of just let it sit there, right, then you can't do anything, right? If you're constantly running from a lion, which is the sympathetic nervous system state, you don't get good digestion. You may get a little bit of digestion, but what happens is you don't digest things properly. So what happens? You just accumulate it somewhere until the body can do something with it, or you eliminate some of it, right? You don't eliminate all of it because it can't even run it through the process. So you just start accumulating things. You just start accumulating different things. You start accumulating you start accumulating toxicity, right? You start accumulating stress, which starts to tense up your body and your muscles, and that tension of your body and your muscles could start affecting your organs. Because imagine if you're super tense all the time and you have shallow breaths and you're crunched in like this, your organs can't actually move around and start eliminating things and reabsorbing things properly because it can't move. Right? Not to mention the fact that your blood flow is now stented. Not to mention the fact that you also have a lymph system, right? Which basically pumps and gets rid of toxicity and garbage in the body. And if that doesn't move and doesn't move things throughout your body becomes toxic, and you actually have no process in getting rid of those toxins, right? So you can take in toxins, and your body's very smart and intuitive, but if you don't have a process in getting rid of those toxins, or run the process long enough to get rid of the toxins, then it won't happen, right? So that's the conversation that we're having today. How do you get your body into that state of rest and digest, and how do you mitigate the amount of stress that you're having each day so that you actually can thrive and grow and survive, right? Or not thrive and grow and not just survive, because if your body's just on survival mode, it's very hard to grow anything and to repair anything, because you're constantly on high alert, even when you're sleeping. Right? So I got some notes here. I'm just going to pull them up to make sure I stay on topic, because I already know I got off topic by explaining all of that stuff, which I'll do more podcasts on later. But basically, the next topic that we're going to go over is, how are you going to generate energy, right? How are you generating energy? And the reason why I use generate energy is because when you're just in life, right? We think about, oh, I need more energy. There's a law of thermodynamics which states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can just be transferred from one state to another, right? So, for instance, if you need more energy, that means that you need to consume more things that have energy, and or get rid of things that are draining your energy. That's the exchange that will happen, right? That's the exchange that happens in your body, right? You're either bringing in energy, and normally that's in the state of some kind of breathing, or actual ingestion of nutrients, right? And then your body has to go through a chemical process which breaks down that stuff. Now, your body also needs to be in an environment and have the tools to actually break down the stuff that you're giving it. Because so many people will go, well, I'm eating the salads and I'm taking the supplements. But if your body isn't in a state to absorb that stuff, and I'm not going to get too chemical with you, but certain nutrients need other nutrients to be absorbed in order for it to actually absorb into your body. You can eat certain things, but if it doesn't have other nutrients with it, you actually can't pull those nutrients out and it be useful for you, right? And also, if you're eating a bunch of foods, but yet you're always stressed and you're in like this kind of crunched over position and your breaths are shallow, you can't get into basically a parasympathetic nervous system state where you can allow rest and growth and recovery, right? If you can't allow that to happen, it doesn't matter what supplements you're taking. It doesn't matter what medications you're taking. Your body is not going to do anything with it. It will probably actually stress it out even more, because it has more things to process on top of the 1,000 things that it hasn't processed already, right? So the first thing I would say is start to get rid of the things that are draining you of your energy. And some of those things that could be draining you of your energy, and some people think, oh, it's like the toxic people, right? Yes, it could be people, right? But there are people that are seemingly toxic, and toxic relationships that you have, right? Some of those people you can't get rid of. Maybe you might need to reduce the amount of time that you're with them, right? But also, it's all a matter of perception, right? If you know that, hey, this person is not great for me, I stay away from them, or I have to interact with them in a certain way so that I don't piss myself off, right? Then do that, right? You can't necessarily just start chopping everybody out of your life. It doesn't really happen. right? But not only relationships that you get rid of, we have to get rid of, or just change relationships. I'm not even saying get rid of, just change the nature of the relationship. Also, we have to worry about the toxins, right? The toxins that you're putting in your body and you're allowing on your body. For example, if you're putting in if you're putting on a bunch of fragrances that are not natural, right? These are basically going to be chemicals made in a lab. Now, that's okay if that's what you want, but you have to realize that you have to offset that, or you're going to have health issues and you're going to wonder why you have those health issues. You may be putting on a fragrance, you may be putting on some kind of deodorant that has a bunch of chemicals in it. You may be putting on some kind of lotions, right? You may be putting on makeup, right? You may be doing all of those different things, right, that are toxic for you. And the reason why I say that is because your skin is one of your largest organs, and anything you put on your skin is going to be absorbed into the bloodstream and absorbed into your body. So if you're putting in things on your body that your body can't absorb and do something with, then it's going to increase your toxic load, meaning that you're going to either have to do some sort of detox and get rid of the negative effects of that, or you're going to have to reduce the amount that you use that product or completely eliminate it. And that could be a soap too, right? But then also we have to worry about the things that we put in our mouth, because some people will go, well, okay, I'm eating foods that I know is not good for me, but I'll continue doing this sometimes and here and there, and that's all right. You do whatever you want. I'm just here to tell you what are the effects, and if you want to have a healthy, functioning body as like the most optimal body that you can create, then you're going to need to get rid of some of that stuff, right? For example, if you're eating a bunch of food-like products, and here's what a food-like product is. A food-like product is something that you probably get in the middle of the grocery aisle, right? Most of the things that you get in the middle of the grocery aisle do not grow in the wild. You can't hunt it, you can't pick it, you can't fish it, right? You can't cultivate it, you can't grow it from the ground, right? If it's not made mostly of those things or only of those things, right, your body's going to have a difficult time processing that. It's going to have to add steps onto it, and chances are that it can't process it fully because it's confused and it doesn't know what to do with that, right? So because your body doesn't know what to do with all that stuff that you're giving it, it's most likely going to store it. And where does it store it? It stores it in your fat cells, and fat cells normally just store toxins, right? So when you're storing all these toxins in your body, they're just always there, weighing down on your system, right? When you have a high toxic load, your body is going to be in a stressed state, right? Not allowing things like weight loss to happen because you can't release the toxins, right? Not allowing things like proper sleep to happen because you're storing and harboring toxins, right? So really just eating foods that, number one, don't even have, like, a lot of the food sources are tainted, right? You see something as like no artificial ingredients, no artificial dyes, no artificial, non-GMO, right? And then you say no hormones. And then when you're looking at that, you're like, wait, it has none of that stuff on it? So you mean to tell me that the stuff that really doesn't say this, or is not organic, has that stuff in it? And you think like, damn, no artificial ingredients, no artificial hormones. Like, why do you feel the need to tell me that? Oh yeah, because most of the stuff that we're consuming has all that stuff in it. Most of the stuff that we're consuming has all of that stuff in it. So now we have to go through a process of like, hey, and I'm not going to get too far into this, but like, I eat mostly organic things, because when things are organic, it's basically saying that the cultivation process or the growing process or the process in which the animal was fed, right? It means that it's respecting the soil. It's not putting a bunch of fertilizers in there which strips the nutrients out of the soil, right? Some people even just put sugar in the soil so that things would still grow. They grow bigger, but they're sicker, right? You have a sick big plant, right? You have a big cattle, but again, what happens? You store toxins as fat. So you see this huge fat animal, and it's like, ooh, that's a big animal, so I can get a lot of yield out of it, and that's what the the companies that grow the products do. They want more money. So what do? They just constantly pump things full of antibiotics, different chemicals to make it bigger and bigger and bigger, because that'll get them more money, right? So you have to realize and be cognizant of what you're putting in your body and where you're buying your stuff from, because you could just be putting toxins in your body and food ends up being mostly medicine or poison, right? So if you're putting poison in your body and you're wondering why your body is functioning like a poisonous body, that's why, right? But we're not taught that all those things are added into the foods. They just say, hey, just eat these things. Hey, just eat those things. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to eat. Do your own research here. And I'll put more podcasts out there of where to look and how to research it. But that's a basic thing. Like, pay attention to the chemicals that are being put inside your body and on your body. So the things that you're eating and the things that you're actually rubbing on your body. Pay attention to those things. Please pay attention to those things. Okay. That's one way of reducing your toxic load. And then another way of reducing toxic load would basically, I can't even say toxic load, one way of reducing the stress on your body is actually getting your body into a parasympathetic nervous system state. And what does that look like? Okay, so what that looks like is you can do some breath work. Now, the reason why I like breath work is because there are two processes or two senses that you have that dictate your stress level, right? So it is your eyes, right? So what you're viewing, and your breathing rate. So think about this. If you've ever used a camera on a phone, right? You have something called portrait mode where you can see everything in front of you, but the background is blurred out, right? That is viewed as tunnel vision in the body. So that's tunnel vision, right? Where you could see everything in front of you, but the things that are on your periphery you can't really see because you're focused on the things in front of you. Your body deems that as stressful. Now, this means that when you're looking on your phone and on your computer, and you're not, and you can't see the things around you, right, in your periphery, which is necessary because you need to focus. It's not bad that you're in that state, but if you stay there too long, then what ends up happening is you have issues that begin to arise, right? So it's not that you can't look at your phone and you can't be on the computer. It's that you have to now bring your body, after you do some of that stuff, take a break and bring your body out of that space, get a wide field of vision. Right now, I love doing podcasts here because I can look out and there's a huge like horizon that I'm looking at, and my eyes are easily able to really see everything in my periphery, so I'm not just narrowly focused on one thing, which is stressful for the body. I like to take walks. This helps your body de-stress because your eyes have to stabilize by moving side to side, and this makes it difficult for you to actually get that tunnel vision, unless of course you're walking and you're on your phone, which tunnel vision again, right? But you can easily take a walk. You could literally, if you can't do either one of those two, you can literally move your eyes from side to side, or you could just look at a horizon. You could take a walk in nature, right? You could do those things and the body will now start to reduce its stress level just because your eyes, right? Again, your eyes are directly, they're the only part that's on the outside of your body that's directly connected to your brain. Like they're literally your eyes. If you look at a picture of the eyes where they connect directly to the brain, right? So the brain, because they have that direct connection to the brain, right? It helps if you can control that, because you can start to control your state, right? And think about the last time you were just constantly looking at a computer screen, or you were constantly just looking at something in front of you and super focused, right? You can't see anything outside of you, right? Or on the periphery, and this almost has your body like locked up, right? And again, this is not bad because you need to focus on things, but also after you do that, right, you need to come out of that state. Most people don't come out of that state. They go from a stress state of looking at the computer to looking at their phone, to traffic, to looking at their phone again, to looking on the computer again, to going into going into traffic again, and then that's the cycle. That's the cycle of the day, right? And in that day, even the little times where you're not looking at your phone or your computer, you're constantly mulling things over in your brain, which can also still create a sympathetic nervous system state, right? So in order to get out of that, like I said, you could view a horizon, right? You could take a walk, right? Those things are very easy to do and they're free, right? The next thing is your breathing. So if you're stressed, normally your breathing is shallow, and chances are you're breathing through your mouth. So you're like, this means, yes, when you're working out, you're stressed. Now, I will get into this later, but working out is still good for you only if you recover from it, right? So if you're working out, maybe you're trying to keep your stress level lower, right, by working out at a lower intensity and focusing on your breathing, right? Because longer exhales lets the body go into more of a recovery state. And if you keep just even you doing that sitting down right now, or whatever you're doing, that's going to stress the body out. Not, again, that you don't want any stress. You want to manage the stress. You want to fully manage the stress. You are in control of your stress levels. You need stress in your life. You can't get rid of it, right? But managing the stress so that your body can still recover, grow, and thrive is paramount. It's necessary. It is absolutely necessary, right? So what you can do here is pay attention to the really longer exhales, right? So just take a long exhale right now. Let all of the oxygen out. Automatically you see your body go like it wants to just relax a little bit more. That's a hack. It's a hack, especially if you're a person that seems like you're stressed all the time. You might notice that you're even holding your breath. You're just doing things, you're just holding your breath the entire time. Like, that's why just eyes, breathing. Those two things can help you reduce your stress levels very, very, very effectively. And you can do that throughout the day so that your stress level doesn't accumulate so high that things start to break, right? So that's what you want to do, because now you put your body in an environment where it can actually recover, grow, and thrive. That's what we're trying to do all of this for, to get your body into an environment where it can recover, grow, and thrive. That's exactly what we're trying to do with all of these processes. And if you get your body into a state where it's recovering, growing, and thriving more than it's just surviving and in a state of stress and struggle, right, then you actually have more energy, you have more bandwidth to handle things, right? It's just easier. Your life is a little bit easier, and you can use your mental power more effectively because you're not fighting so many internal battles, right? And I got some other things for you, because I'm gonna save the rest for part 2, right? So really, you want to be building your energy back up. And number one, the best thing to build your energy back up is high quality sleep. High quality sleep. What do I mean by high quality sleep? Because just closing your eyes or passing out at the end of the night is not high quality sleep. If you're drinking a lot of alcohol before you go to sleep, it messes with the recovery processes in the body, because your body's just still recovering or processing the alcohol. So you can't actually recover and process the rest of the body. You can't start recovering your cells. You can't start recovering your nervous system. You can't start repairing your muscles, right? Because it's hindered, right? So if you're going to drink alcohol and you want to make sure that you're still getting a good night's sleep, you want to consume your alcohol or finish your alcohol consumption about 3 hours before you go to bed, right? Alcohol might help you sleep faster, right? But especially if you're consuming a high amount of alcohol, it's going to mess with the recovery, your body's ability to recover, because it's stressing the body out because it's a toxin, right? Not to say that you can't ever drink, but if you notice that you're waking up super tired all the time, that's probably why, if you're doing a lot of drinking, right? So reduce your alcohol amount, or if you're going to drink, try to stop 2-3 hours before you go to bed, so your body has time to process the alcohol, so that when you actually go to sleep, it can actually process all the stress and stuff in your body, so that you could actually wake up recovered, right? So that's a huge hack if you drink. And then what are activities that can build your energy back up? And these are things that you can do while you're awake, because again, sleep is paramount. If you're going to do nothing that I list here, it's like optimize for your sleep. There are other things you could do to optimize for your sleep, and I'll go over that in different podcasts, but definitely optimize for your sleep. And if you don't know those things, start to look them up. Sleep is absolutely paramount. Like, just think about it. The last time that you got 3 days of terrible sleep, like how well were you able to function mentally or physically? Probably not well, right? So that goes to show you that sleep is vitally important, because it helps your body recover everything from your brain to your muscles and everything in between, to your cells, your nerves, all that stuff, right? So things that you can do to bring your energy back up is breath work, right? Breath work is, like I said before, controlling your state of breathing will definitely help reduce your stress level. Meditation, just because you're kind of getting rid of some of the chatter that's going on, so your body can actually either focus on one thing or just focus on less things at once, right? That's all it is. Some gentle movement and exercises. And the reason why I say gentle movement and exercises is because, again, if you are doing hard workouts and breathing very heavy, this is going to be stressful for the body, and it's not necessarily bad, but you're going to need to do something to make sure that you recover from that stress. Otherwise, you're just stressing the body out, and you won't actually be able to regrow and recover and repair those tissues to grow them back stronger and better. You'll actually just be tearing your body down and not recovering. So this is going to bring you quicker into some sort of demise, right? So gentle movements, like I like stretching, qigong, tai chi. These things, these slow, gentle movements, get you into like this almost meditative state, and the slow movements can help really make you focus and start building energy in your body, because you're taking time to focus on just those movements. And I'll do some stuff on that, but yeah, look up some of those stuff like Tai Chi, Qigong, and things like that, like just gentle movements, a yoga, right? And that's not high pace. Maybe like a yin yoga, a restorative yoga would definitely help. It just gets you into that relaxed state so that you can grow and repair. Another thing is really anything that you enjoy that doesn't require a lot of energy. Really, the definition of, and this is what I'm talking about, the working in stuff, right? So there's working in versus working out, and the definition of work out basically means that you are doing an activity that you're doing an activity that when you leave, you're leaving with less energy than you came in with. Working in is you're doing an activity that when you leave, you're leaving with more energy. So the working in exercises are the things that I'm talking about right now, with the breath work, the meditation, the yoga, the qigong, the tai chi, right? Those things will actually bring you more energy when you're done. You'll feel more energized when you're done than you came in with. Those would be working in. And I got some other stuff for you, but really any activity for you that does that. I like to just go on slow walks, or go on a walk in nature that's very slow, just so I can like take in everything, so that my body kind of calms down. And nature is just very calming. There's not a lot of buzz and chatter from the normal day-to-day stuff, like notifications and electrical currents and things like that. And it seems to be calming for the human. And then you could do some grounding. So this could be done multitude of different ways. You could get a grounding mat, or you could literally just go outside, put your naked feet on the ground, so meaning no shoes, no socks, on the ground, and this helps the body kind of calm down. Not going to get into all of that right now. You could do some sort of oxygen therapy. This would be increasing the amount of oxygen that you have in your body. You could go, there's a lot of recovery centers popping up now. I've worked at a couple, I've went to a couple. Some of them have oxygen therapy, and this can severely help out with any sort of issues that you have going on in your body, because it helps put you in a recovering state. art therapy is super helpful for some people, right? So just some painting or some drawing, right? This tends to get you into just like a relaxed creative mode, no stress involved. Some trauma release exercises you could do. You could look up that stuff. Some acupressure, some massage is also helpful too, whether you're doing self-massage or whether you're actually going to get a massage. Some stretching, as I said before. Doing a detox can be very helpful, because again, if you have a lot of chemical stress in your body, doing some sort of detox, getting rid of the chemicals in your body, it would be very helpful for you. Again, I said walks in nature, and being in some bodies of water. This is also like a form of grounding, but being in some bodies of water, natural bodies of water, right? So this could be like a lake, a river, a spring, an ocean, right? It has natural minerals and things that happen with your body when you're in natural bodies of water. You basically have a energy exchange with that body of water, and that helps calm the system down. You don't necessarily need to be swimming. You could literally just be standing just with your feet in there, or maybe even go lower. That helps a lot. There's something called fascial maneuvers and other different ways of releasing the fascia in the body, because the fascia in the body tends to hold on to different memories and stress, and when you relieve those, your body is actually able to just feel better, right? So that's all I got on this podcast. And again, if you enjoyed this stuff, or if you even got this far in the podcast, because I know I kind of just like word vomited on you guys today, which really, that's a podcast, but if you found this stuff useful, definitely check out the other videos that I have, or the other podcasts that I have, whether you listen to this on Spotify or YouTube. Check out the links in the description down below. I also have some free guides that you could get your hands on to actually help you get into more recovery stuff, especially if you're into athletics or just want to recover your body in general and reduce the amount of stress that's on your body, and the different things that you can do to start thriving instead of merely just surviving. That's like my goal, to get people to realize that, number one, you can recover your own body, and you're actually the one responsible for your own healing. You can get other people to help you with that, but number one, you're the one responsible for that. So people that start to realize, like, hey, I want to take more care and more consideration to my own health and physical well-being, definitely check out the stuff that I have, because that's all I do, is give out information and protocols and things for you to experiment with, so that you can actually start to thrive. Because we're in a stage where we're so inundated with notifications, with stress, there's with things going on mentally, that we're not really realizing that there's a thing that says the amount of stimulation that we have in one day, these people 100 years ago were not introduced to in their entire life. So the amount of stress and ads and agendas that other people set for us, that we have coming in daily, people 180, probably 70 years ago they weren't introduced to this amount of stimulation in in their whole lifetime, and we're introduced to all that stimulation in one day, right? So just think about having all that stimulation. You have to have some way of getting rid of that stimulation. If you're too stimulated, it's going to be hard to get your body into a recovery phase. So I'm not saying get rid of your stuff and live off grid. I'm saying you have to just be a better manager of that, because just being in this world, functioning around now, it's like you have so many inputs in that you also start to lose yourself in all of those inputs. Like, you're getting all these inputs, like, what do you actually think? What do you feel? How do you feel? What's going on with you? Most people don't do that check-in. So that's why I do these podcasts, so that you can just start checking in with yourself more and more and more, so that you can actually be a productive member of society and actually function and do those things that you want to do, and not just follow the agendas of everyone else. Like, pick your own agenda. If you vibe with other people's agendas, cool, do that. But getting rid of the stress and the stimulation that's coming in allows you to have a filter that is able to do that. So that's all I got here. Like, comment, subscribe. Send me an email if you want to dive more into this stuff. And also, I have some coaching slots available, not many, so I don't really publicize it like that, but if you really are looking to take your life and everything and performance to the next level, I got you. And we can have a free consultation, absolutely free, no strings attached, and see if any of the programs I have are right for you, if we even have some slots available. So that's all I got here, and yeah, peace.